Hello and welcome to Innovations for Poverty Action, IPA Ghana, remote training. This is the model that focuses on data quality. And in this model, we are going to look at how to effectively use SurveyCTO Collect app, how to use advanced features like case management in SurveyCTO for phone service, and how the best practices in phone service for data quality. Now, to begin with, SurveyCTO Collect app. SurveyCTO Collect is actually an Android application that you use to collect survey data. The Collect app actually allows you to administer a survey without internet and ensure that the data is protected and send it back to one place. You can ask many different types of questions and collect different types of answers. So we have a server, and we set up the server, and we give you server details, and you log in and you download the forms. And immediately after you download the form, you are able to use it offline on that Android app. So it's actually a copy, what you call copy, computer assisted personal interview platform that we actually use. So I'm going to take you through a demonstration of the home page, how to navigate through the home page, and certain things you need to take
when you
note
open
of.
SurveyCTO the first time, you are going to see this screen. It's going to look like this. And in this screen, you see that the home page contains 5 main buttons that are here. Fill blank form, edit save form, send finalized form, get blank form, and delete saved forms. And the first one, filled blank forms, is actually used to start a survey, filling a survey form. You are conducting an interview, you start calling the respondent, you click here, and you find the form you are supposed to fill. Assuming you are filling the third one, you just click on it and you fill the form. We are going to come back here in the subsequent sessions. So that is that for the fill blank form. The edit save form is used assuming you fill the form and you assuming you tried filling the form and you saved it partially. You save it partially. When you come to edit save form, you will see it there and you can click on it and edit it. Practically, in our service, especially for phone service like this, you might be calling a respondent, and as you are administering the interview, something comes up and the respondent will have to discontinue the interview for a period of time, and you would have to call the respondent back, and in such instances you save it partially and you come back to the edit save form. The send finalized form is used when you are done with doing everything about the filling of the form. You send it with the send finalized form, assuming you have completed this interview. Then the get blank form is a point where you begin. And the get blank form is a point where you begin to receive a blank form. And the get blank form is a session where you want to download a form from the server, assuming you are starting to conduct an interview, or maybe you have just started a project and you want to download a new version of the form, you want to get a new update. You click here and it will connect to the server. When you connect to the server, you see the list of forms here. Assuming our video form is down here, you click on it and you get blank forms. So to get a video test form, and yeah, it's getting the video test form. So now we have the form ready, so we can go. So you have gotten the form and now you can use it for your interviews. The delete save forms here is actually used when you want to delete a particular form or interview that you have conducted wrongly, especially, you enter here and you see the delete save forms. The left part talks about the save forms, a a wrongly filled form. You can just delete it here and say yes. And this side is for the blank forms. You can just go ahead and delete some forms you have gotten if you need to delete. But mind you, for the delete saved forms, you may delete forms that you have filled wrongly, but you need to be careful in selecting the forms you delete. We don't recommend that you delete forms anyhow or anytime you just want to delete, because we might want to check for backups when there are critical issues. And also remember not to delete blank forms unless the survey management team or the project management team instructs you to do so. So that's just an overview of the home buttons that comes at the first glance. The three dots at the top right corner here is used to do many things. You can check about SurveyCTO Collect here, you read about it, and mainly in our what is more relevant to you is to use it for general settings if the need arises. And when you go to the general settings, you can actually look for server name. These are the three main things that you set here: the server name, the username, and the password. This would actually be provided by to you by the survey management team, and you can just key in the server name, the username, and the password as well here.
Now let's talk about beginning a survey. Now that we have gone through using SurveyCTO in terms of the interface, the explanations, and all the menus and what to do, we want to look at beginning a survey. What do you do when you want to begin a survey? So before you begin a survey, ensure that you download onto the tablet the latest version or the recent version of the survey. We mentioned this in our previous videos. You should ensure that you have the recent version of the survey. If you are not sure of the recent version, call or contact the survey, the project management team to give you the recent version number so that you are sure you are using the recent version. Just call them and tell them, I'm using this version. Is that the recent version? If not, then you will get the recent version. And ensure that if you are getting the recent version and you don't see the version, sometimes you try to go and get different version and you don't see it. It might be because of your internet, or maybe some few things. Try and get connected to the internet well, refresh and try again. If it doesn't work, connect with the project management team and let them explain to you. Probably you are missing something out there. Then use the fill blank forms that we went through to select the survey and start filling it out. So these are just some 3 things you need to do before. Now I am going to take you through filling a sample form with some of the question types and what you do, what to take note of, and how to respond to certain error or constraint messages.
When you want to start a survey, as we looked at previously, you will come to the fill blank forms. And when you come to the fill blank form, you should have a form you have already downloaded from the get blank form session. You should have a form you have already downloaded. So when you go to fill blank forms, assuming we are filling this form, you just click on it and fill it. Now we are starting our survey. There are critical things we need to take notice of here. It says that you can swipe backwards and forward in between questions. The instruction here: swipe backwards to previous prompt and forward to next prompt. Forward like this, backward this way. Now at the top of it, you see 3 buttons at the top right corner. The first one looks like a disk. that is for saving the form at any point. It's advisable that as you fill it randomly and continuously, you be pressing it, and when you press it, it saves the form. As you can see, form saved successfully, or form successfully saved. The second one, which is an arrow with a dot at the bottom, is used to navigate to specific sessions, assuming it's a long survey and you have gotten somewhere and you need to go back and check something which is in a very a session that is far away behind. You will click on this button and you will be able to navigate to a particular question or session that you want. You can also press the go to start or go to end if you want to restart it again, or you want to go to the end and finalize. Then also the third one is also used to do skips and validate and general settings. It is not really relevant when you are filling these forms. But assuming for one reason or the other, you are not able to swipe through, if you use the skip to next questions here, it forcefully skips without checking for validations. But it is not advisable to use it. Now we are beginning to fill our forms. So when we swipe forward, we are going to start filling the forms, and you see here it says name. When you open to the question, how the keyboard displays will give you an idea about the responses required. Here you can see that the full keyboard has been displayed, which means that it will require a text input. So you just type in the name. Your name is Bram. Of course, Matthew. So after putting in Matthew, I swipe forward. I come to the second question. You see that a new window pops up, which is integer, full of numbers, which shows that this is an integer field. You can see the question say age in completed years. You can see that the in completed years is actually italic. That means that it's a hint that the programming team will want you to know. So there are sometimes the real question is in bold, and the hint is actually italic. Sometimes we might want to give you a hint to a particular question, a hint to what to probe for, a hint to what to do. So you should be looking out for this. So let me enter my age to be 12 years. So when I swipe, you see no, it's not going. No, it's not going. You can see that there's a prompt that counts that age should be between 18 and 60 years. There are constraints to especially integer inputs mostly. So when you are entering the integer inputs, read the hints well. They will actually give you a fair idea about what to put in. And when you are not able to go through, ensure you read the prompt that come and you enter the valid responses as well. So now this third group of questions is called select one. You see the question comes up gender, and the responses come with a radio button, which means you can only select one. You can only select the male or the female. So when you select it, you cannot, when you move to female, it unselect the first one. Anytime you see the radio buttons, it shows that it's only one select. So you select and you swipe. Then when you see the box or the checkbox button in front of the responses, that means this is a multiple select. We select the ones you like, which means you can select mango, select pawpaw, select orange and leave bananas, or select mangoes and orange, and you are good to go. So this is how the select multiple also works. Then you can now swipe to the next question. Then also you see a question that comes say date. There are some questions that come like date and time, which you need to just pick it. So I can just say today's date is March, of course, March 2020. I'll say today's date. Today's date is, of course, 7th? No, April. So April, today's date is actually 7th. 7th April. So immediately I input it, you see there's a time button at the bottom here, and I'll set the appropriate time that I am. So there are questions that require date and time. There are other questions that take only time. You just set the time here. So when you are done, this is the final screen where you will have to save and finalize your form. So you see that there's a check button that says mark as finalized. It is checked by default because we assume that by the time you get here, it is checked by default because we assume that by the time you get here, you should have been sure about all the things you put in. Otherwise, you uncheck it. When you uncheck it and you go back to send finalized form, you will not see it. When you uncheck it, it means it is not fully complete. You are going to continue later on. But by default, it is checked. So when you click on the button, it will send the form, and when it's sent, it brings you back to the home. Now, when I go to the send finalized form, it is here, and I can click on it, and I would send a form.